Yeah, welcome all. This is Jai Tahsildar from Curious IT, and I have my colleague Anish with me here. We are going to wait for just another minute to let other attendees to join as well. There's going to be very interesting, I'll say 45, 50 minutes to talk about Business Central and its new Wave 1. So Nupur, should I wait for about 60 seconds more?
Yeah, I think you can start in another 60 seconds.
Perfect. Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, I guess 11:01, good to go. We have a very interesting session today. And once again, welcome everyone. My name is Jai Tahsildar. I'm founder and managing director at Microsoft IT. We are 21 years old organization and a leading Microsoft partner in the UK. I have my colleague Anish Agarwal with me. He's a solution architect. Many of you have already worked with him, but some of you perhaps would hear him today and then get to know more about Business Central 2026 release wave 1. But first of all, thank you very much for joining this webinar today. We have a fantastic audience. Our attendance is perhaps one of the best ever. Many of you are already our customers and some of you are new prospects working with us as well. So I'll just take few minutes, no more than 2 or 3 minutes, to really just set the scene, give you the big picture, and then quickly move on to the real topic of Business Central 2026 Release 1. Okay, so from this first slide, as you can see, Mercurius IT is Microsoft solution partner in all four major categories. That's business applications, that's your Business Central and CRM applications. We do digital and app innovation work, that's the second logo. We do a lot of data and AI related work, and that's again agentic AI related discussions we are going to also have when Anish talks about the release wave 1 and what's new in that agentic and AI space. And of course, the fourth area, we do a lot of managed service work and Azure infrastructure work with Microsoft as well. So those are the four logos just to explain. As you can see here, two of us, we are going to walk you through. Mainly Anish would talk about it, young and very talented colleague of mine. Um, just to give you a 1 minute quick profile, we are 21 years old organization, started in Milton Keynes in February 2005, mainly serving our UK and Irish customers, but our UK and Irish customers, overseas subsidiaries and group companies now in 35 plus countries. So we are very happy to serve them, roll out your ERP implementations as well as CRM implementations, and then support them on ongoing basis as well. We primarily actually cover the Microsoft Dynamics partnerships. That's really the main area, main focus area. Just to assure you, we are ISO 27001 certified company. It's an information security management system, as you may know, and we are Cyber Essential Plus certified company as well. But perhaps my favorite, we have been for last 4 years, partner of the year with our companion cohort as well. And that's really has given us a lot of success and visibility in recent years. In terms of solutions, we cover mainly ERP in our business application space, Business Central, the biggest area, finance and supply chain for a very recent growth area for us, and Boltrix, which is our 3PL ERP. We cover Dynamics 365 CRM flavors. We cover all Power Platform flavors, including the agentic solutions that we deploy for the customers and all Azure solutions. And as you already know, actually, we do business consulting, that's for implementations, application development, whenever you need extensions on your solutions, Business Central mainly in this case, MaxCare support. I think almost 80% of you are using our MaxCare support, those who are on today's call, as well as the managed services for a number of customers where we take care of their entire IT infrastructure remotely as well. And I think just my last slide before I hand over to Anish, and just to give you a big picture on what Microsoft brings to table for you. Majority of you are using Business Central. Some of you use a CRM as well. Any flavors of CRM, either sales, customer insight, which is nothing but marketing, customer service, contact center, field service, project operations, and of course, human resources. Not many customers still using it. And then the last but not the least, for the big enterprise customers, Microsoft's finance and supply chain solution, which is much bigger ERP compared to Business Central. So that was really my quick introduction and setting the scene before I hand over to the solution architect Anish, who's going to talk about our Business Central Release 1 now. So Anish, I'll stop sharing the screen and hand it over to you so that then you can start presenting your slides. Thank you.
Sure, Jay. Thank you very much for the introduction. It was a great one. As we all know, the Microsoft releases a major version every year for the Microsoft Dynamics product. So Business Central is one of them, and then Microsoft releases April release and then the October release. So Microsoft has released the 2026 Wave 1 release for the Business Central, which is also known as an Microsoft Dynamics BC28 version. So if you see on the screen, we have got a new logo, which is set by Microsoft now. So if you see this logo in your product, that means you are on the Business Central 2026 Wave 1 release. So Microsoft commits, it continues to deliver the same powerful capabilities and refreshed and modern experience with this new logo, basically. If you have any questions, please feel free to put your questions on the chat window. We'll answer at the end of the sessions. Yep. Moving on to the next one, these are the topics or agenda which we are going to cover on today's session. That is the enhanced Copilot and agentic AI capabilities which Microsoft had introduced on Business Central 2026 Wave 1 release. And then we'll also look into what are the enhanced feature in the finance side. And then we'll also look into the supply chain and what a new governance and administrator for the admin person in the Business Central. That is something we'll talk about on today's session. And we'll also have some of the live demonstration for some of the features on the finance, AI, and the supply chain. Yep.
I just suggest, Anish, what we'll do is we'll also request our audience, in case if you have any questions, please feel free to type in the chat window so that at the end of the call, at the end of the session, we can take those questions as well. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yes, thank you. Yep. So the Microsoft has released some of the agentic AI capabilities in the Business Central 2026 Wave 1 release. So what's new in the payable agent? Now, the payable agent, the Microsoft has rolled out in all the countries where they are serving on the Business Central product. So now it is available on all the countries, and they have done some enhancement which we'll talk about it, and then we'll also talk about the credits, how it gets consumed and those stuff. Then we got some of the modification on the layouts, like now the person who is creating a record and modifying the record, whether it is an user or the agents, so it will be shown as an avatar. So then we'll see how we can see those information in the Business Central screens, and then we'll also see what responses agent generates, which can be directly seen on the pages. And then there are some of the new feature added by the Microsoft, but these features are not yet rolled out in the major version, but they are releasing on the cumulative update, which will be most probably on the May and June month. So this is again a new feature, interesting one. This is basically when the agent processes any email from your Outlook, it actually marks as an processed, so the user won't get confused whether it was that the user has to take action on it or the agent has already done it. So those kind of small enhancement Microsoft has done on the payable agent as well. Now there was a new feature that has been added, stop all activity starts for the selected agent. So once you activate the agents, then suppose agent is working on 10 of the requests, and out of 10 you don't want to proceed with the 2 or 3 document, or you want to stop all the task which is getting performed by the agent. So before, you have to go to each of your task and then cancel it. But now Microsoft added a button called stop all, which can be just click and then all your activity which is taken care by the agent will get stopped. Yep, moving on to the what's new in the payable agent. So if you see, the Microsoft has released this on the all the countries and region where their business central is available now. It supports all the languages. Uh, the major changes which Microsoft has done on this payable agent is a three-way matching feature. So based on the descriptions and the quantity and the vendor, the system actually checks the order receipts against that invoice, and it will auto do a matching, and which can be easily then accounted to the document while posting an invoice. Yep, so this is a great enhancement which Microsoft has done, three-way matching. So your document will be a consistent one, which against which receipt or the orders you are actually posting the invoice. So that can be done using a three-way purchase order matching. This is something an agent can perform, but we'll also talk about how you can do manual on the existing purchase order, which you create a manual purchase invoices by doing a manual activity. Then Microsoft, again, I spoke already this agent category process email in the Outlook. So once the agent will process that email, system will the agent will mark it as an process. So user don't have to go and check it and then process it again. Now, these are the some of the features that will be released in the upcoming cumulative updates, like the improved PO matching facilities. Instead of doing just with a description or so, they are also adding some of the additional fields. Based on that, you can actually the agent can actually do the matching of the purchase order lines. Then we have, so if you see here on the explore payable agent, say, so there is an option, select the file. So the Microsoft is also introducing a feature, so you don't have to actually connect with your email with the payable agent. You can directly drop your file on this select file section, and then agent can process that file and create the purchase invoice straight away. And then same feature will be on your purchase order purchase invoice list page as well. So you just need to drop your file and the purchase invoice will get processed and the draft document will get created by the agent. Now on here, if you see the cost of using a payable agent, so suppose what Microsoft says, invoice processed is requires 50 credits. So processing one invoice, it will require 50 credits, and then it depends on the line item, how much line item that invoice is having. For one line item, it requires a 5 credits to be processed. So here, suppose if you have an invoice with 5 lines, so 50 is for processing an invoice and 25 for the line item. So total 75 credits will be required for processing an purchase invoice using a payable agent, which will be equivalent to your 0.56 GBP somewhere. Yeah, so it's very cheaper, and Microsoft gives a free credit for processing at least 10 to 12 documents now. And in the future release, they have also committed to increase it by 30 or 31 invoices so that user can actually start exploring this feature and get into the routine. Moving on to the next one. We got a show avatars of for the records created and modified in the list page. So here, if you see, we'll have a quick demonstration on the Business Central, so it will give you more understanding on this feature. So let me move to my Business Central screen here. So if I'll just go to the sales order page, let's say. And on the sales order screen, if you see, there is an view layout option is there. Before, there was no drill down option on the list page here, but now Microsoft added this function, small change, create and modified by. So once you click on it, system will add another column here. And if you see here, system will show who has created the document, who has last modified it. So here in this case, if you see, I just created this document and modified as well. So this will give a user a quick view who has done who has created the document and who has modified it. So this is just a user friendly feature that Microsoft has added for knowing what changes has been done or by whom it has been done. Yep, moving on to the next one is the NS feature. Before we move on to this finance thing, I would like to show you another AI feature that Microsoft has given you. So you can actually now create your own agents just by writing an simple natural language instructions. So here, if you see, I have already created one for me. So I'll just click on it, the settings icon here, and I'll show you. So basically, I created an agent, and this agent will actually read the file which I'll be uploading it as an attachment, and it will just give me the data on the message. So if I'll just show you the instruction, what are the instructions I have added for this agent. So on the natural language, just I have given you are an purchase receipt agent. Your job is to get the vendor name and the requested item details from the attachment. Provide the output in the below sequence. So I want a vendor number, item number, description, and quantity from a document which I'm going to attach on the agent. So this is basically a delivery note or the sales shipment which I received. So I just want to get the information, what was my vendor name, or what was my item code and description and the quantity out of this. So what I'll do, I'll just cancel this here and I'll click on run task here. Now I'll just go and select the task here. I'll just say here. Okay, I'll just say run task. I'll just give a run to. I'll say, oh, I'll just cancel it for now. I'll just copy this one. See, I'll just use provide with sequence run to. And here on the attachment section, I'll just quickly add that file which I have shown it to you here. Now, once I click OK, system will actually process in the background. If you see on the right side screen, the Microsoft, the read receipt data agent is actually processing my request. So if you see here, system is doing a run to as was my task. It is taking time to process it because it's reading a data from that attachment which we have just added now. Yep. And
so, Anish, this is fantastic. Just out of curiosity, all our BC SaaS users can do this already?
Correct. Yes. So this has already been released by Microsoft. So we can even this won't require any development to be done. So non-technical person can also create their own agents and can perform the activities. And the instructing in the part is now using this feature, we can actually develop our custom agent, which is can be automated, which will be in the automated process. Like suppose I want to generate and whenever I receive a delivery note, I can actually create my warehouse receipt document straight away. So I can do a coding, I can do the process automation and using this attachment feature and other stuff. So this can be a very useful feature.
Yeah, and this is really interesting because what you've written here is just natural language. There's a business process language really. So any one of you in the audience, if you want to know how it works or if you want to kind of get one case done with our team really, just reach out to us through our support team or your customer success manager, and that'll be very interesting because we find this is really getting a lot of traction in the industry now. A lot of customers are showing interest in using this capability of Business Central. Thanks, Anish.
So here, if you see the output, system has the agent has actually extracted data from that OCR and has populated in the given format which I requested an agent to give me. So this is again a good feature. You can explore this feature. If you need any help, you can just send us an email. When the one which I was talking about is a stop all tasks. Now you can actually stop your all tasks from just clicking one button here. Okay, moving on to the next one, that is our finance enhancements, which Microsoft has done on this release, is a plastic text, and then we got a withholding text, and then self-billing invoices. So let's start with the plastic text, how it works. So in the United Kingdom, plastic text is known as an PPT text. So from 1st of April 2026, Microsoft has increased some amount on it. And this is only applicable for those companies who has actually uh, doing a recycling less than 30% of their plastic products. So this is applicable for the manufacturers and the imported goods, which is into the UK market. So how it works, let's have a quick check on the Business Central. So basically, Microsoft has uh, added a few of the setups like excise VAT types here. So if you see, we have created an excise VAT text type text as in plastic here. Now on the configured entry types, I have selected whenever I'm doing a purchase cycle or the sales cycle, system should calculate those plastic text based on the duties or the calculation I have mapped. So I just wanted to calculate for items. I don't want to do it for the fixed asset for now. So I selected an item. I have given excise duty rate as an 228.82 pounds, and which is effective from the 1st of April 2026 here. Now, this is one of the setups that needs to be done. And on the item card, we have to calculate how much the packaging or the plastic that product is containing. So I'll just open one of the next example here. So this is if you see on the item card, the Microsoft has added this excise text tab, wherein you just need to select the type of a text which you want to configure for this item, and then quantity of an excise text. So here what I have formula I have used is my gross so my gross weight is 39.79 kg, where my net weight is 34.56 kg. So out of that, I just calculated in the tons this item for one product. This is the quantity which my item had the plastic packaging. So just to show you a one-on-one, this is just a demo item which we created. So the quantity for excise text, we have kept it as in one, and the unit of measure on which we want to calculate this excise is tons here. You see. So it will give you, if we process for one quantity, the system will just show you 228 pounds for that particular line item. So let me go to the purchase order. I just want to do for the purchase side for now. Now, if I'll just open document. Yep. So on the purchase document, I have added these two line items with the one quantity here. Now I'll just quickly post this document so that I can show you. I can do or receive an invoice for now. To enter the document, I'll just copy this plastic text demo. And I'll just click on post button here. This is a withholding one. I'll just quickly disable the withholding for this vendor for now. I'll just see. Okay, so this document has been posted now, and we got an excise journal now, through which we can generate the plastic text. So once you posted the invoice, you just need to click on you just need to provide the filters which you want, and then just click on OK, and system will actually bring those two lines with the calculation of that plastic text. So here on this, if you see one-on-one, we calculated that is a 228.82 pounds, and for this item that the plastic text amount is 1.1 pound. So this is how you can actually can actually do the plastic tax calculation. And once you do a register, you can actually find this all entries on the size where transaction log entries here. Now using this table, you can actually create your own report in your own format so that you can submit it to that HMRC. Yep, this is how the plastic text work. Let's move on to the next one. It is a withholding tax. So withholding tax is again in some of the countries, companies may have to pay withholding tax to the government for the certain third-party services or the vendor purchases. Business Central calculates the withholding tax, and when you pay vendor invoices or when you post it based on your setup, the tax amount is withheld for the payment and reduces to the total amount owned by the vendor. So if you see an example here, how does it works in the Business Central? So user has raised an invoice for the £1,500, and then withholding setup was done for this as a standard for 20%. So whenever I'm posting this invoice, system will calculate the withholding tax of £300 here, and net payment which I'm going to do the payment to the vendor is at £1,200 here. Now, once you do the posting here, once you make the payment, now your 300s will be your on the withholding liability account. When you actually pay to the HMRC, then you can actually knock it off. It can be moved to the payable account, and you can actually pay to the HMRC here. So this is how it works on the Business Central. So if you see here, a tax deducted at the source from the payment before you actually recipient receives the amount collected and remitted by the payers on behalf of your recipients applies to the specific income types required by laws in many companies or countries, often based on a fixed rate or the threshold. So here, I'll just quickly show you a few of the setup screens. So to activate this feature, we just need to go to the general ledger setup here. Now on the general ledger, if you see, there are the two fields has been added for the withholding. So we just need to enable this withholding here. And there's another button field which is called as a round payment amount for the withholding tax. So if your withholding is getting calculated on 3 decimal places or the two, it will just round it off. And then to activate this, you also need to go to the vendor card and enable the withholding tax liability, and you have to select, sorry, before you have to, you just need to create the text posting setup. So here, if you see, we have created a text withholding text business posting group as a standard, and we wanted to calculate for the 20. So we added a product posting group as a 20 for here. Now here, if you see, a withholding text calculation rule is greater than. I want to calculate only on those invoices where the withholding tax minimum amount is 100. And the tax percentage is 20 here. Now here, if you see, the Microsoft has also added a feature whether you want to calculate withholding tax on the invoice part, or you can do it at the time of making a payment. So, or the earliest. So based on this setup, your feature can be activated, and then when you create a purchase invoice, system can calculate and then post based on it. And then the rest of the fields are just the GL account mapping. So the payable accounts and the liability accounts which you need to map it here. Yep. So this is how you need to do a mapping, and then you just need to activate on the vendor card. So once you activate, whenever you are creating a new document, system will calculate the withholding against that particular line item. And then on the item card, you also need to add So on the item card, you also need to add this withholding text product posting group. So there's a feature, either you can add it on the item card or you can actually select it on the line or purchase line itself. Yeah. So this is how the withholding works in the Business Central. And due to time constraint, we'll just have a quick demonstration of the self-billing invoices as well. So now self-billing features enables the buyer to generate an invoice on behalf of the supplier. So if you have a mutual agreement, this removes actually a dependency whether the supplier has issued an invoice or not. You can actually raise your own invoice on behalf of your vendor and then process it. Let's have a quick check how it works. I'll quickly do a self billing invoice. I'll quickly activate. This one. So if I'll just go vendor card. So on the vendor card, if you see on the invoicing tab, you have got an option, a self billing agreement. So you just need to activate this one, and then on the purchase and payable, you need to define a number series for generating an self-billing invoice series. And just click on show more here. And if you see, there is a new field added for self-billing invoice number. We just need to create a new number series and then system will start adding it. So for now, I'll just quickly do an order. Let's see, let me create a new one. I'll quickly do one. Set the binder here. Make an item. One quantity. I want to post this. So now I'll do just receive for now. So before we actually click on post button, I just wanted to highlight this one thing. So here, if you see, the vendor invoice number is now non-editable. But for the normal vendors, it will be editable, and until you put the vendor invoice number, system won't allow you to post it. But for the self-billing vendors, you won't be able to add any vendor invoice number, which will be automatically generates at the time of posting an invoice. So for now, I'll do a receive and invoice together. I'll show you how it shows. So if you see here on the screen, vendor invoice number has been auto-generated using that number series, which I have shown you on the purchase and payable setup. And now also, if you see, there is a new print that report which has been added as a self-billing invoice. So again, this is a standard format which Microsoft has given you. But again, you can develop self-billing invoice layout depending on your requirement. So this is how the self-billing works in the business center. Moving on to the next one. Before we actually move on to the next one, I'll just quickly disable the self-billing so I can process with the other documents for this vendor. Okay, so these are some of the new enhancement Microsoft has done on the supply chain, like defining item attributes for the item variants. Now, the most awaited feature is the quality of goods and materials. So that is an inbuilt solution which can be now used. And then we have got approval workflow on the requisition and worksheet and item generals. And then we got some of the new features that has been added around the drop shipments. Now you can actually undo your drop shipments, but there's a limitation before you actually post an invoice, you have to do undo, otherwise it won't allow you. And you can create the drop ship purchase order straight from your sales order. You don't have to go to the requisition worksheet and then create it. So that's something you can do. And then the next feature is something you can actually create your purchase invoices separately. You don't have to wait for the sales invoice to be posted. So that is three or four the three features that Microsoft has done on the drop shipment side. And then the last one is purchase matching with the purchase invoice with the multiple purchase orders and the receipts. So this is a three-way matching feature that Microsoft had introduced in the business center. So now if you see on the screen, I won't be able to demonstrate this due to the time constraint, but I'll just show you how you can actually navigate to the business in the item variants and see all your attributes. So before you have to create, suppose so for some of the items you have a just a minor difference like color or the size. So you have to create a different variant items in the business center. But now you can actually create your variants, and under that variants you can define the your attributes. So you don't have to create a multiple items for it now. Yep. So moving on to the next one, that is the quality management. So now Microsoft has introduced as a built-in feature for doing a quality. So this supports on the purchase side as well as on the production output, assembly outputs, and the sales return feature. So I'll quickly demonstrate the few of the setups, and then we can actually post and document and see the quality inspection for it. So this is basically our quality management setup page. These are the 4 triggers for the receiving and then production and then the inventory and the warehousing. So for now, I'll just say purchase order. Whenever our new purchase order is received, system should generate an quality document for it. And until I post and do a quality test, system should not allow that inventory to be go forward. And these are the basically a test parameters that needs to be defined here. So some of them are just for the demonstration purpose, and which I'll be using this packaging thing. So these are the test parameters that I'm going to use for my quality testing for incoming goods. So let me go to the order. Let's open a purchase order. So I have already created a document and I have added this quality test on this order. So there are the 2 or 3 ways to do it. If you have not made it automatically whenever you are, if you have not set a rule when the purchase order is received, system should all auto generate the quality. You can actually do this feature things manually as well. So you can click on create quality inspection document before you actually receiving the materials. So those features are already there, but for now I'll just say post and I'll do a receive. So if you see, have already received my 5 quantity here, and on the top, if you see, there is a notification. So again, this is not a part of the purchase team, but actually this is a small notification that can be generated for the demonstration purpose. It will be easy to navigate. So I'll just click on open the inspection page here. And under the inspection page, I can see whatever are the test parameters that I have requested for that items to be added. So these are the parameters that is there, and I want to do a sample size. I want to take as in 1, or I'll do a 5 on 5 because this is all DCs. I'll say this was passed undamaged. So if you see, the result has been changed to the pass here. Now I'll just make it pass like well here. I'll say 35. So these are the range between I need to put do a quality test parameters. I'll do a 20 here and I'll say pass description good. So now if you see system has a pass made all the result isn't passed. Now I can just click on I just need to click on finish. Once you click on finish, system will release this as a past quality report. Now you can also generate a quality of analysis here. Again, this is a standard format, but actually you can create on your own format using a custom layout. Yep. And then we got an inspection report as well. So you can actually generate your inspection report. So what are the parameters that has been read? What are the test values that has been done? And who has done those tests? So those information is capturing on this inspection report. Yep, this is a good one. Moving on to the next one, approval workflow on requisition worksheet and item generals. This is very requested feature. We even developed for so many of our customers. They wanted approval functionality on the item generals and the requisition worksheet so that your data will, like what inventory adjustment or the postings you are doing, that should be validated before you actually post it from the user perspective. So we'll quickly show you there are the two new workflow templates that has been added in the Business Center. So item general batch approval process. Now again, all your approval chain or workflow user group or the direct approval. So it supports all the standard feature for the approval process. So again, once you activate based on your conditions, system will start asking you for approvals on the item general and then the requisition worksheet as well. Yep. So the next one, the dropship orders. So you can actually now create your purchase order straight from the your sales order. I will just quickly demonstrate it to you. Nupur, I hope we have some time to continue.
Yeah, another few minutes, maybe, Anish. I know everyone is pressed for
Yes.
time.
Yeah. So I'll just quickly show you sales order. So this is a sales order which I already created for dropship. So if you see, I have requested for 4 quantity and my dropship boolean is already activated here. Now under the more options, actions, functions, create purchase document. Before, when you click on this button, system only process the special orders. But now it also supports your dropship orders here. So now what I show you the list of all the dropship items here, which is like on this sales order. Once you click on it, system will create the purchase order against it. Now, once the purchase order has been created, you can actually do a post, you can actually receive it here. And once you receive this document, it also posts a warehouse shipment in the background. So I'll just quickly show you the warehouse shipment here. It should be here somewhere. Yeah, shipments. So if you see here, system has already posted a shipment against that purchase receipt. Now I want to do a undo shipment for this drop ship. So I'll just quickly click on undo shipment. It actually undoes the shipment. So if you see, it has created a -4 quantity of ship. So it has rolled back the transaction which we have done. So now if you see here, again, quantity to ship is 4. And against this, if I want to see my purchase order, I can actually see the quantity to receive is again now 4. Yeah, here. Now again, you can post the invoice individual. You don't have to wait for sales invoice to get posted for your purchase invoice for the stock shipments orders. Now matching with purchase invoice with a multiple purchase order receipt lines. I'll just quickly demonstrate this feature. I won't be talking much on this. I'll just go to the purchase invoice page here. So before that, I'll just show you the purchase order, which I already created for the demonstration purpose. So these are the 2 purchase order which I created, and I have. Yep. So these are the 2 purchase order. One is a quantity 10 and another one is my quantity 4. Sorry, 12. Out of that, I want to receive only 4. So for now, I'll just say post. I'll receive the quantities. And for the previous one, I'll receive the full quantity as in 10 here. Oops, sorry. I just need to do a receive. Yep. So now I'll go back to the purchase invoice page and I can create a purchase invoice and do a order matching straight away. I'll just open, sorry, I'll just create a new one. Create a new. Location. I'll select an item. This was my item. I'll just add a location here. And now I can just click on match order lines here. Now I can just click on get order lines, or I can do a get receipt or the shipment lines against this order. So I'll just say get order lines, and system will actually show me the list of orders which I want to do. For now, I'll just say these two are the orders which I want to do. So I'll select this one. Now if you see, it has added a receipt line as well. So this is my invoice number, this is my order number, this is my receipt, and out of that, how much quantity it was. For the first order, I received 10 quantities, and for the second one, I received only 4 out of 12 order quantity. Now, if you do with the existing or traditional process, then you have to create 2 separate lines and then map using a get receipt line feature. But now, if you use this feature, system will auto populate those quantities with the matched order lines here. So I'll just say 14 here. And once I click on it, I can see those matching lines. So once I post it, system will also uh, update these lines on the purchase orders. Say no for here. I'll go back to the purchase orders. And I can actually see the matched lines. So it's gone on. Yep, matched invoice lines. Sorry. I think there's some issue with this one. Yeah, but you can actually see how which against which invoice the document has been posted on this. Now, another feature that has been added by Microsoft on this one is, so suppose you want to do an on receipt, whenever you are doing an invoice, system should also do a receipt. So you just need to enable this Boolean field here. So once you enable this, whenever you are making an invoice and posting it, system will automatically do the receipts. So this is again a good feature. You don't have to post the receipt separately for those line items. Yep. So that's it for the supply chain part. And then there was some enhancement Microsoft has done for the actually an IT person or the admin person. Like in the existing process, analyzing a permission sets would be a big problem, or it is very cluttered way. If someone needs any information what permission that user is having, then user has to actually go on multiple pages, get the information, and then populate. But Microsoft has added few analyzer page which can be used for analyzing the permission sets. So if you see here, permission overview, while it is opening. So these are the basically Microsoft also added few of the APIs which can be exposed outside Business Central system. So that is something can be created as in Power BI reports for managing your permissions. And then similarly for the workflow approval setups as well, they have also introduced an page called approval workflow user APIs, or user overview. So now if you struggle to find who are the approvals against this process or the approval setup, so you just need to click on the overview page and then select the record, and then it will show you who were the approval setup for that particular workflow. So this is again a good feature for an admin person who can easily work on this one. And some of the new features added on the user management page as well, like last login date and time, inactive days. So when user was last logged in and how many days he has inactive on the business centers, just for the tracking purpose. And then easy navigation on the approval user setup and the setup page. And if you want to check the allow posting from or the two setups, then you have to again navigate to the user setup page and see those information. But now Microsoft added this fact box here on the side screen, so you can just select the user and get this information just on, not even navigating from other pages. And these are the two new API Microsoft has introduced for the permissions and the workflows. So this is what I was talking about. This APIs can be now accessed outside Business Central system, or we can create the reporting, or either the Excel reporting or the Power BI reporting, where we can group the permission set or easy identify which user is having what permissions assigned, and based on that we can do analysis and then have a more control on the permissions and the features. Yep, let me see if the Business Central has updated. Yep, so if you see here, so these were basically the permissions overview. So on the permissions overview, we have already created few of the analysis for this one. So this will I have created an analysis for view for permissions that allows the delete with the permission sets and what are the object types. So I don't have to go on to the Excel and then do a VLOOKUP and all those informations. I can just click on these buttons and I can just see what are the table the permissions which we have given under this permission set, or the name of the extensions and other stuff. So similarly, you can do your own analysis. You can create your own analysis reports. So it can be useful. Sorry, that was for the permissions that was allowed, but this one is for the delete one. So I'll just scroll for some of them. Checklist item roles. So I can see these many permission sets have the access of this particular object, which has delete permissions allowed. Yep. So that's it from my side. Chair. Sorry, I
Yep.
took more than one.
No problem at all. I can understand. I know if I let you continue, you can keep us here all day. But that's not a problem. This was a very quick whirlwind tour of what's coming in wave 1 of this new 2026 release. Obviously in 45-50 minutes, you can only present a very high level overview, but please do reach out to us if you have any questions, anything that you want to explore, or if you are exploring and if you get stuck. I can already see there are a couple of questions. We've already answered them in effect, really, about plastics tax and withholding tax. For companies upgrading from older version to the new version, yes, these features would be available only when you go on to BC SaaS. So all these new versions, as well as all the agentic and AI features, would be available for you only once you get onto SaaS. Of course, most of you are already on BC SaaS. Those who are not, I'm sure our teams are working with you already on this BC upgrades. Just one small announcement before we conclude. And of course, there's one question from Dan. Yes, we will share the copy of presentation to all attendees as well. So one last announcement before we conclude. We have our next CRM webinar coming up on 22nd of April at 11 a.m. That's 22nd of April, 11 a.m. BST. Please feel free to join that CRM webinar if you're interested. And if you have any more questions, again, feel free to type here or send us an email. Reach out to your support lead or your customer success manager. And thank you very much for everyone for your almost 50 minutes of time today, this morning. Thank you very much, Anish. It was very useful, very interesting. And Nupur, thanks for organizing everything. Thank you. We'll close the call now. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.